questions. That was the questions. Because it was a three-way party deal between me, Cassidy, and another entity. This other entity was going to take the footage and put it on other platforms to generate other revenue outside. That's why I was like, this could potentially a fucking $1 million deal. You had the people from Paramount coming out, and this was going on some other shit. This was on some whole other shit. So what I did was, with this deal being that, okay, y'all gonna take this footage and be in control of this footage. Okay, y'all cut this check. Cut this check, and that was the deal. So all right, they give me the money. I take the money, boom. I pay Cassidy, and I pay the other battles. I booked the other battles. There was another check coming contingent on Cassidy showing up. Now, of course, Cass don't know this, because it's like, all right, if I'm talking to Cass and Cass agreed to a certain amount of money, that's all he's entitled to. So if there's other money on the side, that's if not on the side, but if there's other money coming, he's entitled to a back end deal anyway, with everything else, with the residuals of the other deal and the pay-per-view and all of that. So whatever. So that the remaining balance of the money that I was gonna get at the event after the battle, that was the remaining money to pay everybody. It was the back end for the event. That's what it was. So when Cassidy don't show up, what happens? Are we smart? If Cassidy doesn't show up, and this deal is based on Cassidy because it's his name that sold these people. It's his name. It was supposed to be his reach. Now, while he's not promoting and all of this other shit, and then you do a pop-up, an interview here, an interview there, and all of this shit, and then I find out the morning of, somebody else text me talking about he's sick, and niggas is trying to play it like I've been new and kept on going with the event. What sense does that make? Or I heard, once I found out Cassidy ain't showing, I'm supposed to cancel the whole event. What sense does that make? What sense does that make? So even when that back end money didn't come from the people that we did the deal with, I still went in my pocket and I paid what I could. I couldn't pay niggas what I don't have.
Somebody checking my in back with the blog, man. Make sure that like button and subscribe button away, and I appreciate all the support, man. You just heard John speak about the Cassie situation. He talked a lot more in detail. He talked about this Cassie deal was supposed to be some stuff that was going on multiple platforms, and Paramount was supposed to be getting involved, and it was supposed to be getting outside of battle rap and bringing like eyes and money and everything to battle rap. So it looked like they had a big deal surrounding it, and I guess he was looking for someone that could kind of take that battle to the next level, and that's how Cassie came into play. Now, my thing with John is, I was listening to one of his spaces, and he was basically talking about, he was talking a lot about what's wrong with battle rap, how battle rap need to be fixed, all this kind of stuff. He obviously talked about the negativity that's in battle rap. He talked about the bloggers and the media, how they focus on the negativity. He talked a lot about King Bao and how people like ran to King Bao and was supportive a little bit because he booked Daylight, but he wasn't really in battle rap for the right reason. And we need to get behind people who are in battle rap for the right reasons. I'm listening to that, and I'm like, you didn't even pay the in-game people, and you didn't even put the in-game battles out. I already knew that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I basically broke this whole entire story when I put them on the stock drop list, and I talked about the battles not being out. I talked about the ballots not being paid. I had already spoke to the ballots, at least a few of them. They hadn't been paid. So I kind of knew that most people, if not everybody on the card, did not receive all their money. But at first, I really wasn't tripping on it. It really wasn't a big deal to me. Like I said, nobody was too much complaining publicly. But as time went on, niggas was talking behind the scenes. That's how a blogger like myself can find out about it. I'm not a part of the negotiations, but I find out about it because niggas start complaining. And then every time you like, yo, what's up with the battle? Niggas is just like, yo, John ain't paid us, so the battle ain't out. So then you start figuring out what's going on. And when the stock drop list came out, I kind of broke the story. Then eventually Danny Myers, there was an interview, talks about how John owes him like $1,000 still, and all hell breaks loose. And John is basically saying he don't owe nobody no money, which is kind of weird to me. He went on Twitter and said he didn't owe nobody no money after he did an interview saying he did. It was just super weird. It wasn't necessarily true. It was contradicting. This nigga John posted, niggas acting like they didn't get paid is crazy to me, especially if the sentiments ain't never been expressed to me. Niggas want to get online and dick eat. Niggas acting like they didn't get paid is crazy to me. This is what the niggas said. Niggas acting like they did not get paid is crazy to me. When I hear that, I'm assuming you must have paid niggas, right? Look at it.
They saying, everybody's saying you owe them money. A lot of people. I can't say. I can't say. I think Cassidy started it though, because Cassidy was saying.
That's what I'm saying. Who was saying that? Why is people telling everybody else that, not telling me that? I don't know what's going on. That don't make no sense.
Right. So you ain't got no problems with nobody. Everybody's taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, for the most part. I mean.
First of all, if a nigga asks you, is everybody taken care of, and your answer is for the most part, the niggas ain't taken care of, bro. That's a yes or no. If I ask you, is everybody taken care of, it's a yes or no question. Yes, they taken care of. No, they're not taken care of. For the most part is not an answer. But let's carry on.
The only thing that ain't shit, but everybody I spoke to understand what went wrong with that. So,
well, I think that's what they talking about, the end game. I guess a lot of people on the end game saying it's still money being owed.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so he says there's money being owed, and he says, yeah, of course. If you're going to say, yeah, of course, then why are you on Twitter saying niggas acting like they didn't get paid is crazy to me? Is it, yeah, of course, or did they get paid, John? Because these are two different statements. Niggas acting like they didn't get paid is crazy to me. So you must have paid them, right? Then it can't be, yeah, of course. You didn't say, yeah, of course. Let me rewind. You couldn't have said, yeah, of course.
People on the end game saying it's still money being owed.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I'm owed money. Everybody's owed money. What are you talking about?
Everybody's owed money. Hold up. Niggas is acting like they didn't get paid is crazy to me. I think in this whole situation, I think John should have just took more accountability. Obviously, Cassidy has a lot to do with it. I do feel like people that interview him, I'm not one of the people that do interviews. People that interview him do give Cassidy a pass. They'll interview Cassidy. They'll talk about what he got going on. They'll talk about, but they never say, yo, you fucked up the battle. They always like let him have a pass. He can say whatever he want to say about John. Niggas just sweep it under the rug. So I'm not one of them niggas though. I ain't never interviewed the nigga. So of course, if I did, I would grind his ass up too about what went on with the event. However, John is at fault. I feel like John booking Cassidy was like bad intentions. Like I don't even think it was for the right reason. I think you looked at the venue, the money, the opportunity, and you try to find someone that could fit that mold, and then Cassidy was part of the plan. I don't even know how much Cassidy was even involved in a lot of this, to keep it real with you. I'm not going to say he didn't know, but I don't know the extent of it. I don't know if he knew as much as you knew. You got to know, if you're not paying people, it's only going to be quiet for so long. It's only going to be quiet for so long, especially if you're not putting the battles out either. And that's the other mistake you made. When the battles don't come out, you got pretty decent battles on there. You got Danny Myers, Rex on the card, Bad News on the card, Clone on the card, Jazz on the card, Shay Rock on the card, Sierra Jones on the card, Los on the card. You have heavy hitters and big names on the card. When those battles don't ever come out, an entire card doesn't drop, it's gonna stand out. And once people start DMing you and asking you like, yo, what's up with the in-game battle? They're asking bloggers like, yo, the in-game battle never came out. They're tagging me on Twitter about that. You cannot not pay niggas and not put the battles out and think it's just going to get swept under the rug. There's going to be somebody that's going to come out like, yo, John still owes money. John still owe me money. If they don't want to talk about it publicly, they still talk about it privately, and they leak it to bloggers, and bloggers don't have no loyalty to you. You're just John, a league owner. Like, you don't do nothing for me, I don't do nothing for you. So at the end of the day, I don't really have to keep that under wraps. Nobody has to keep it under wraps. People that interview Danny Myers and ask him, did he get paid? They don't have to do you any favors by not asking that question. So you got to get ahead of the situation. So in my opinion, You should have done an interview and you should have basically explained why the battles didn't come out, not take this passive aggressive kind of stance where you're kind of like, well, if you want to watch the battles, just go back to the order it on Rap Grid. You know, if you would have ordered on Rap Grid, you would have saw the battles. They're still on the VOD. Like, don't take a defensive stance when you know the format is pay-per-view, do the battles, VOD, eventually come on YouTube. When you break from there, don't be mad when fans ask you what's up with the battles. And battlers are eventually going to ask for their money or vent frustration about not getting money. And it's just going to be a trickle-down effect. You really could have got you let Cassidy do all the interviews, control the narrative, and basically talk shit about what you didn't do. And then you had all the fans saying you did bad business or you was not on the up and up. When you are, quote unquote, according to you, you damn near the victim. You know what I'm saying? You was doing all the right stuff and Cassidy was doing all the bullshit. Why are you sparing Cassidy? Because you like, oh, I don't want to talk about the business. The business will always get talked about, bro. Like, these are we're in a social media era where niggas find ways to talk. This ain't the old era where you only talk to niggas when you went to events. Niggas can DM, tweet, do whatever, find ways to get a message out. You are not going to be able to throw an event, not put the battles out, not pay niggas and think, oh, I'm just going to go a year and nobody will really know what happened. You should have got ahead of this story before Cassie got ahead. Before Cassie's narrative got out there, you should have got out there. Eventually, Hip Hop Is Real was going to catch up with Cassidy. It was only a matter of time. You got the MS3S niggas paying Cassidy to come down there and talk. People were going to catch up with Cassidy. And one thing about Cassidy, the nigga was not going to take no accountability for not doing a battle. So because of that, you needed to control the narrative. You needed to get on the front line and be like, yo, Cassie fucked the event up. Because of that, shit is kind of messed up. The sponsor is kind of tripping. I'm still kind of having a hard time paying the artist from the event. You should have just been transparent. And you may say, well, I don't really owe y'all to be transparent. You're right. Until Cassidy speaks. And once Cassidy speaks, he threw you under the bus. So why not throw him under the bus first? Because one thing we do know, Cassie didn't show up to the event. He's an easy person to throw under the bus. So the fact that you spared him, you didn't use your channel, you didn't speak to nobody really about it. I think you did a couple interviews here and you really didn't talk about none of the financial problems you were having to even get the fans on your side. And this is what happens. Now you in spaces wondering why niggas is tripping. You didn't pay artists. And if artists come out and say, well, John didn't pay us, what you expect media to do? You expect media to spare you? No, you didn't pay niggas. Niggas gonna say they need to get paid. And then personally, I don't really feel like you should be throwing an event if you can't pay niggas. Like, if you're dependent on a pay-per-view and you're dependent on the door sales to pay niggas, you're not in a position to throw an event, bro. You're not in a position to throw an event. You gotta be able to pay niggas even when there's a loss. And if you don't have that, then you don't really have the finances to throw an event. Either you need to be paying niggas less money to battle, or you don't need to be booking so many people or whatever the case may be if you don't have the money to cover. Now, granted, I'm not expecting Cassie to no-show. Definitely not expecting that. But you probably got some sales and different little stuff on the pay-per-view. I know people probably wanted refunds, certain people or whatever, but you cannot just throw an event and only expect door money and pay-per-view to be able to pay. That's the only way niggas can get paid is if that. So if the shit hit the fan, there's no other way a nigga can get paid. I don't know if that's the best way to do business. I do understand that niggas don't have unlimited pockets, but niggas gonna still want their money. They not gonna give a fuck about no Cassidy, bro. So I just think you got to get ahead of shit. And when you don't get ahead of shit, you can't be mad at Snowball. You should have known it was going to snowball. Like, you owe niggas money. Like, it's mad niggas on the card that didn't get paid. It's too many niggas that don't have their money for them to continue to be quiet. And the battle is not being out. It's like another, like black eye to the situation. It's an easy way for fans to be like, yo, what's up with the battles? The battle's not even out. Shay Rock and Jazz didn't even drop, or Danny Myers battle didn't. It's easy for them to ask what's up with the battles. And the only answer to why the battles ain't out is niggas didn't get paid. So if you're not going to put the battles out and you're not going to pay everybody their money, you should have got ahead of the story. because to think that the story wasn't going to come out doesn't really make sense in 2025, bro. Every fucking thing is coming out. You can't even fight an event. Like, niggas is secretly recording fights and going live on Instagram and putting them on this shit. Is showing up on OTFMZ. Niggas, everything is out, bro. Everything. To think you like can sweep shit under the rug and keep the business to yourself in 2025 is not happening. And you should have known that. And had you known that, you might have been able to get to the story and the fans would have fucked with you. Now you're a reactionary. And because you're a reactionary, people don't give a fuck. People just don't give a fuck. Then you lost the funds. You got like a lot of trickle down effect on why people ain't really fucking with your energy is bad. You mad at fans. You mad at fans for asking you why you ain't pay niggas. That's what fans do. That's why you have to control your own narrative and tell people what happened. And when you don't do that, I don't even know why you mad. I don't even know why you mad at all. So, and just because you tell me that the Cassidy event got fucked up and I couldn't pay niggas, it don't mean that you ain't never gonna pay us. So, like, you can't pay me now. Maybe down the road you can pay me though. So yeah, for you to be like, oh, well, I talked to everybody, they understand. Bro, the event was last October. It's almost another October. At some point in time, I'm going to be expecting you to come up with that bread. I'm sure you didn't tell people they're dead on their money. You probably told them, this is all I got, and when shit works out, I'll pay you. And apparently, they're not getting the message, bro. And if they got the message, they would not be talking to bloggers. That is the point, John. Holla at your boy.
Chris, Bias. Man, subscribe to the channel, man. Don't be a hater your whole life. Chris Bias.